it's a big show.
Welcome to the Fade Route
It's a big bad show tonight.
with DNZ.
Yeah, it's a big show.
Here are your hosts,
Cracking up, telling them lies.
DNZ. Welcome everybody to this week's episode of the Fade Route with DNZ. I am Z, and we got a great show for you. We're talking play-in tournament basketball. We're talking about Toronto, and more importantly, the nation of Canada, kind of messing with the integrity of the playoffs, possibly. And we're going to order up the top 5 players that could possibly challenge Shohei Ohtani for MVP this year. But we're going to start with, are you ready for some football? Because it is back after a long hiatus. The USFL is back to take the mantle of spring football. They start this coming Saturday, and we need to temper our expectations just a little bit, but football is back and we need to embrace that fact. Led by Jordan Ta'amu, Paxton Lynch, and the immortal Kyle Lauletta. These are the faces of your USFL. So, it remains to be seen what kind of brand of football we're going to get. But I can tell you this much. We do have some star power in terms of coaching. You have Todd Haley, former head coach in the NFL, former coordinator with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is manning the ship of the Tampa Bay Bandits, who are the overall favorite to win the USFL championship if you follow the guys in Vegas. And then you have Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher, the head coach of the Michigan Panthers, with the immortal Paxton Lynch back. So we will see, what happens this year. But we got to be excited because football is king in this country, and football is officially back. And here he is. I've known this guy since our days on Carousel Shoes, flight crew through and through, the last QB in St. John's history. What's up, D? How's it going, man? And are you excited for this?
I mean, listen, they should hire you to do their PR, because up until our production meeting, I didn't even know it was starting this weekend. You hyped it up better than they've been hyping it up. I mean, they got to take it slow. I'm interested to see it, in passing. Baseball has surprisingly been really exciting lately, so it's been taking up a lot of my spare time over basketball. But I'm interested to see the product. I wanna see how they're going to compete. I want to see competence on the football field, and I need some excitement out of it. So, I always liked Todd Haley. I like Eric Fisher. I'm not a Paxton Lynch guy, and I'm not familiar with a lot of the players. I know, we looked over the rosters before this started. No name jumps out at me. Like, oh, that guy, Michigan's quarterback, right? I remember him. Like, nothing stood out to me where it's like, okay, I want to see this. But we'll see where it goes.
Absolutely. And I know you mentioned the fact that I should be the unofficial hype man for the USFL, but if we're to kind of deal with this, by comparison, right? The XFL announced its head coaches today, and that got way more buzz than the fact that the USFL is actually kicking off its season, its inaugural return. So the XFL announced its head coaches. You have Reggie Barlow, Anthony Becht, Terrell Buckley, Jim Haslett, okay, Wade Phillips, okay, Bob Stoops, college, fine, Hines Ward, good for Hines Ward, I think he was coaching in the AF, So he's back. He went from the AF to the XFL, and Rod Woodson. So kudos to these guys. It's head coaching positions. It may not be the NFL, but it could be the next step to the NFL, especially for, guys that want to get a little bit of seasoning. So it's definitely concerning that just announcing the coaches of a league that is a year away from happening has kind of lapped the progress of the USFL, but slow and steady wins the race. I will tune in just because I'm intrigued. I mean, I watched the AF, I watched the XFL both times just to see, out of perverse curiosity, right? It's kind of like the same reason why people watch car accidents, right? The rubbernecking. They want to see what the hell's going on. So, in a way, this will be rubbernecking watching. And I mean, I have no horse in this race. I have, the New Jersey Generals. Woo! Okay, fine. I'll claim the New Jersey Generals since my team plays in New Jersey, even though they rep New York. But we'll go with that. They're playing Saturday night against the Birmingham Stallions. What the heck? I got nothing to do on Saturday night. I might as well tune in for a half and see if it's any good. But we digress.
Is your hair thinning or is your hairline receding? Scalp micropigmentation will fill in the areas where your hair is missing by creating a short buzz cut look. Micropigmentation is a non-invasive procedure that will create the illusion of hair follicles for 7 to 10 years. For people with alopecia, this could be a permanent fix. For people with scars on their scalp, this is a great way to camouflage a scar. Don't lose confidence or feel like you need to wear a hat wherever you go. Marquez Studio is located in the Bronx and is open for all your scalp micropigmentation needs. Consultations are free and appointments can be made any day of the week. Get your hairline back with scalp micropigmentation. The techs at Marquez Studio have over 30 years of hair cutting experience and can assist you with all of your questions. Call to schedule a consultation today, 646-221-8728. You can also visit them on Instagram at Bronx Marquez to see their gallery and view all their satisfied customers. Again, that is Marquez Studio, located in the Bronx, New York, 646-221-8728.
Scotty Scheffler. Congratulations, you took home the green jacket. Scotty Scheffler wins the Masters. However, the story of the show, the story of the tournament was one Mr. Eldrick Woods. Yes, Tiger is back, ladies and gentlemen, after a car accident that nearly killed him. After arduous physical therapy, Tiger Woods not only played, he walked it, he finished the tournament. He was not in contention, but everybody was buzzing about how good Tiger Woods looked. So how should the winner, Scotty Scheffler, feel about his Masters victory being overshadowed by the return of Mr. Tiger Woods?
Yeah, I feel like he should be really upset about it, right? And maybe this is just me. I personally am just tired of Tiger Woods being the story. Tiger was going almost double the speed limit, and he nearly killed himself in a car crash, destroyed his leg, his back. And then, even though he was not drunk, an empty bottle of prescription medication was found in the car. We don't know what happened. Thank God he survived, and thank God he didn't take anybody's life. But I mean, Scheffler is on his way to being like a big-time golfer, if he's not a big-time golfer already, right? He won the Phoenix Open, he won the Arnold Palmer International, and Sunday he won the Masters. I mean, the golf community and golf fans should really be getting on this guy, and maybe that's the problem with golf, is golf doesn't have like a true identity outside of its, what, like you'd say, its top 3 or 4 guys, right? You know, Scheffler comes in and wins, and Dustin Johnson comes in and wins, but still, everyone wants to know how Phil did. Everyone wants to know how Tiger did. Everyone wants to know, like, you know, how Fowler did. Like, so I don't know. I mean, I think it's a discredit to him for really having an amazing weekend, and just it's not fair that Tiger's overshadowing him, finishing in 47th place.
No, absolutely. And there's 2.7 million reasons why Scottie Scheffler is going to be okay. So congratulations, that's a good purse. But if you're looking at the future of golf, right, you're looking at guys like Scheffler. Rory McIlroy finished in second. Colin Morikawa finished in fifth. You're looking at Justin Thomas tied for 8th. Charles Schwartzel tied for 10th. Dustin Johnson tied for 12th. Danny Willett, who won a Masters, also 12th. And then where's Bryson DeChambeau? You know, where's that?
He got hurt, right?
Yeah,
he got hurt, right?
Yeah. Gone. Yeah.
No one even talked. Yeah, no one even really talked about how he couldn't finish, and he's getting like hand surgery. Like, these are all like the backstories of the day. It was, oh man, Tiger finished 1 under, I think, after the first day, and it's just like everyone's like hyping it up. It's just like, well, we got to move forward. Like, he's not gonna pass Nicholas. Like, I just don't think so. So can we move forward? Can we get hyped about another golfer, another up and coming guy? Like, why does it always have to be Tiger? And maybe I'm ignorant to this because, you know, I know it was 25 years ago. I think he won the first Masters.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he's everybody's like, you know, he's everybody's Michael Jordan, it seems, in golf. But I'm pretty sure that there are guys that revere him, but there are guys that are better than him. You know, I think McIlroy is better than him. I think Phil is way better than him. I think Phil, to me, is one of the best golfers. So I don't know. I don't know if it's the accident. I don't know if I'm just fatigued from always hearing about him. It's just that I want something new, and golf itself should be trying to attract the new audience, new crowd.
No, you're 100% right. But if you're looking at these guys, right, what was the beef between DeChambeau and Koepka? I think that is what was driving golf. You know, Patrick Reed is an asshole. That doesn't drive golf. You know, John Rahm, he's a good player, but not a personality. Tony Finau, we try to hype up Tony Finau for years, right? Webb Simpson, okay, Webb Simpson's decent. Patrick Cantlay. I mean, you have guys out here who have talent, but like you said, you know, people just want to talk about Tiger Woods because Tiger Woods they want that comeback story. You know, they want to remember Tiger as that dominant force.
You think it's just like it's story driven, it's media driven? You think that's what's driving it?
It has to be, because he sat out for how long? You know, it's something they want to sink their teeth into because there's no juice. You know, Tiger has been the story since 1997? Yeah. Go back to the days of Seve Ballesteros really not welcoming him on the tour, to Tiger Woods being a dominant force, to the first car accident. Now he had his comeback, he had his Masters win, and now this again. Like, it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride, and golf needs personality. Like, golf, if you're going to attract new eyes, right? Like, much in the same way that tennis will struggle with this once Federer's gone, and once Djokovic is gone, and once Rafael Nadal, once they're gone, once the Williams sisters are gone. People are going to want personality. They're not going to want just excellence. You're going to have to bring more to the table. And I don't know if there may be somebody down the pipe, right? There might be somebody who's like 6 years old right now who's going to eventually be the person who takes this mantle. But right now, like, golf is struggling. golf needs personalities, and they're going to latch on to whoever they can. And right now, it's Tiger Woods. It's the Tiger Woods that's clearly in decline.
The only thing I will disagree with you on is that I feel like tennis does a better job of, like, when Federer gets knocked out or Djokovic knocks out, they do a better job of rallying behind whoever's left. I remember a couple of years, Andy Murray was that guy, right?
Murray.
Yeah, and he was the guy that kind of, the top dogs were out, and it's like, well, Andy Murray's still here, he's going strong. Or even Naomi Osaka, when she was rising up, it was like, oh, this is a young girl, she's doing well. Like, she like, I don't think golf does a good job of rallying behind, like, the next man up when it came to, like, Saturday and Sunday. It's like, when Saturday and Sunday, we should have been hearing more about Scheffler. Instead, we were hearing where Tiger was and how proud we were that he was so brave to walk the course and give this a try. Well, how about where's Westwood? Where's Matsuyama? Like, where's McIntyre? Where's Garcia? Like, where are they? Like, let's talk a little bit about them. They're at least in front of him.
Right.
What do they need to do to overcome, or what are they going to do the next time? So,
how much of this is also golf hyping up the wrong people? I mean, like you're mentioning, like Sergio Garcia was supposed to be the rival, right?
He never wins, that guy. He won
couldn't
one time,
sniff
right?
Tiger Woods' jock.
Yeah.
Who else? Ricky Fowler. The only thing Ricky Fowler is good at is wearing orange. Jordan Spieth. Jordan Spieth started out hot, and then what happened? Like, they get behind guys, but they're getting behind guys that can't deliver. And even Rory, even Rory falls into that boat. Rory started out phenomenally, and in reality, he's just another guy. Do you love brownies? Of course you love brownies. But you know what's better than a brownie? A delicious, handcrafted, gourmet brownie delivered right to your doorstep. That's what our guys at Sweet Life Brownie Co. offer. Chef Tommy D and the crew offer a dozen delicious delights that you will crave, from the classic OB to Dutch apple to campfire s'mores and many more. Check out their website, sweetlifebrownieco.com, for their Friday brownie drops. At noon, their site goes live and you see what they're making. Since you're there, become a site member and earn points. You earn 50 points just by signing up. Make sure you follow on Instagram and Facebook too, at sweetlifebrownie_co, for the latest updates and their latest releases and creations. That's sweetlifebrownieco.com. Give them a call, 845-641-3043, and tell them D&Z sent you. That's sweetlifebrownieco.com, 845-641-3043. Sweet Life Brownie Co., because there's always room for a brownie.
Yeah, it's just a weird sport, but what's not a weird sport is basketball. Now we're heading into the playoffs. The end of the season happened last week. We got playing games yesterday. But the Bucks rested all of their stars in the final game of the season, and to lock into the number 3 spot for the NBA postseason. Were the Bucks wise to choose to play the Bulls in the first round of the playoffs rather than possibly playing the Cavs or the Nets after the play-in game?
They're going into this series with the Bulls. The Bulls are depleted, whereas you are coming into a scenario where Kyrie Irving is now allowed back into the building full time. So you have a relatively rested Kyrie Irving, a motivated Kevin Durant. That's definitely a team that is, on the come. They did beat the Cavaliers last night, so that's something. It's a matchup that you need to be worried about in the future. That would have been a huge embarrassment if they bowed out to the Cavaliers in the first round of the play-in tournament, the Nets. But as far as the Bucks go, injuries to Caruso, injuries to Lonzo Ball, it's a good story, but if you look at this roster, is DeMar DeRozan going to be that guy? In the past, DeMar DeRozan was the guy that teams traded and got better. So who's going to show up? The guy from the beginning of the year that wanted to prove a point, or the guy that was effectively just good enough to get you beat? That leaves you in Zach LaVine. How good is Zach LaVine? We're going to find out, because they're going up against the Milwaukee Bucks. They're going up against a juggernaut. They're third in the league in points per game. They're second in the league in rebounds per game. They are going to get theirs. Can the Bulls match up with them? I don't think they can. So I think it's a wise decision on the Bucks' part to kind of cherry pick their opponent, because now they're getting the right opponent at the right time for them.
Yeah, my response might surprise you. I kind of disagree. Like, I'm always a proponent of playing the games. Like, I always thought it was foolish when the Colts would rest their players at the end of the season just because they locked up the 1 seed and they locked up home field advantage as a football experience, comparison. But I just think it was foolish for the Bucks to rest their players and not compete for a higher seed. The Bucks should want to play the Nets now, right? It's like, I would not want the Nets to build cohesion. Like, Kyrie is just coming back. It's Ramadan. He's not eating all day. He's just playing. He's just eating at night, playing the games. Ben Simmons hasn't played yet. You got to assume that he's going to assemble, he's going to get into the rotation soon and start playing. Like, I want to punch the Nets in the mouth right now. I don't want them to go in and, like, sweep the Celtics or, maybe beat the Celtics in 6 games and really find rhythm at the end. Also, I don't want injuries to play a part. Like, my team is strong now. We're healthy now. We're playing our best basketball now. I want to play you right now. I want to get this over with, That's my mentality, and I think that's the mentality that the Bucks should have had in this situation.
Well, I also don't know. It's going to be a good, hotly contested series between the Celtics and the Nets. I can definitely, if I'm looking at this from their perspective, I might see it as this is going to be a series of attrition, right? Game 6, Game 7. Are you going to get the best shot in the next round? Maybe not. Maybe the Celtics and Nets will punch themselves out, and I just can pick the bones. Or if there's an injury, possibly anything can happen. So,
yeah, I mean, injuries can go either way. I mean, I'm just looking at the numbers of this, and I'm pretty sure, like, in NBA history, I don't think anything like higher than a 5 or 6 seed ever won the championship. I mean, yeah, there's a first time for everything, and the Nets are a special case, I guess. But I just wouldn't want them to get rolling. I wouldn't want them to get steam. I saw what they did against me in, like, what was it, the Eastern Conference Finals, or they played them in the quarterfinals. Like, I don't want it to come down to that again. I know that this team is just gelling. They're just starting to play together. Ben Simmons hasn't even really got in here. I got a chance to punch these guys in the mouth and not have to worry about it for the rest of the finals. Yeah,
I mean, I see where you're coming from, but I don't know.
You shouldn't fear anybody, right? You're no. Aren't they the defending champions?
The Bucks are the defending champions. Yes.
We're the defending champions. We had a chance to finish as the 1, 2, or 3 seed. We shouldn't be afraid to play the Nets. We shouldn't be afraid to play anybody, right? We're the best. Isn't that the mentality? I think Michael Jordan would have been like, yo, we should take a 3 seed because I'm worried about Chris Webber and the Bullets. Like, really, come on. Like, if we're going to really compare things, you think Shaq and Kobe are like, yo, we shouldn't finish as the 1 seed. We should finish as the 3 because I'm kind of worried about the Phoenix Suns, or I'm kind of worried about the Sacramento Kings. Like, doesn't that just sound silly? Like, right? Doesn't that sound silly? Because essentially that's what you're saying, or that's what you're dealing with.
Essentially, it's what you're doing, but sometimes your team is not equipped to make that happen. And if you look at, historically, only 2 8 seeds have ever knocked off the 1. So it has happened. Stranger things have happened. But we are also discounting the fact that the Miami Heat are also in this too. So as as much as we want to make this like not even a two horse race, because that Celtics Nets is really a pick'em from what I can see. Like the Nets really underachieved this year, and it's all because their own doing. It's their own doing. So,
our pep talk helped the Celtics get into the 2 seed. By the way,
you're welcome. Hey, Boston, don't say we didn't do anything for you. But if the Nets don't, so we've gone over this many a time, and it's finals or bust, right? For the Nets, it's got to be finals or bust, right? In order for this to be a success?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the only thing I would say is Kyrie Kyrie didn't play most of the year. They lost James Harden. Ben Simmons isn't playing. Yeah, I guess so. They should. Yeah, they should. I mean, but, moving on, after playing no games in the regular season, the Nets, Ben Simmons did not even play in the play-in game last night. When will we see Ben Simmons? Over or under five postseason games for Ben Simmons this year?
Under. Absolutely under.
Yeah, right?
That's so honestly, I think under, because he's not going to play versus the Celtics, and I think the Celtics.
Is he definitely ruled out of that series? He's
not ruled out, but I don't think he's going to play. At this point, like, what's it going to take? Like, when is he going to suit up? At this point, it doesn't matter. Like, that trade was made to get the other guys. It was made to get Seth Curry. Like, we'll call that the Seth Curry trade. We won't call it the Ben Simmons trade. But I got to say, I'm going under. And I really think it's 0. And if they get knocked out by the Celtics in the first round, like, this is going to be the biggest egg on their face that they could have.
Wow, so you're saying he ain't playing any games.
I'm saying he's done for the season.
Street closed the whole way through. I mean,
yeah,
why even tease it? And why even tease it? Why even talk about him? Why is he even there? I mean, I'm going under for other reasons. Like, I just feel like he's saying he's already got a back injury. He's already hurt. So if they do get him on the court at some capacity, I just feel like he's not going to be ready to play basketball or ready to make contributions. And I just think the Nets are going to get bounced, like, out of this. Like, I don't think they're going to get to the finals. So I don't think he's going to even have an opportunity to make an impact, whether it's he doesn't get in shape to play or he doesn't even get healthy to play. Like, what does that say about the game of basketball if this dude could just sit out all year and then all of a sudden come into the playoffs and, like, be spot on? Like, this guy has trouble hitting jump shots. Like, how is he just gonna come into like a high pressure game against Philly or against the Heat or against the Bucks and just be like, whoa, we weren't expecting this? Like, really?
Right. He couldn't handle the pressure of Philly, right? So let's send him to New York, right? There's no pressure in New York. Absolutely not. It's been a sideshow with both sides. It was a sideshow with Simmons. It's been a sideshow with the Nets. And it feels like it's the perfect confluence of events. And frankly, real basketball fans should be rooting against the Brooklyn Nets, because you are, by rooting for the Nets, you're saying that you endorse what they were trying to do. And you can't endorse what they were trying to do. Like, that's not the way the game of basketball works. You have to play with your team the entirety of the season. You can't just take off all the time. And if they make a run and they win the whole thing, all that's going to do is embolden teams to do the same thing. It's a bad precedent. And I don't want that to happen. I still believe in athletic competition. I still want that to go down. And for the Nets to cruise through this thing and then get Ben Simmons and have him join the party, it's just a bad look. It's a bad look for the sport.
Not only that, but if things are going well, like you're up 2-0 on Boston or you're up 3-1, like why would you even bring him in? Like why would you disrupt your flow? Like why would you disrupt the good things that are going on? Maybe he comes if they are having trouble, or maybe he comes if Kyrie or Kevin Durant get hurt. I can't see how this man could have a positive impact on this team at this point in the season.
I don't know either. I mean, the only thing about it that I think would be positive is that he's probably the only Brooklyn Net that would play a speck of defense. Like, Ben Simmons is a defensive stalwart. So if his back injury is, manageable, he should be able to get on that court, and he should be able to mark one of the better players. He should be able to shut down a Jaylen Brown. He should be able to shut down a Jason Tatum.
I can shut down Jaylen Brown. Avoid messy accidents. Get better stopping power with your brake pads. Callahan brake pads. You never know when you'll be driving in the road and there will be a truck tire that you need to avoid and save your family. Callahan Auto. We really care about what's under your hood. While the Nets try to figure out when to insert Ben Simmons, teams are going to have to start figuring out what they're going to do if they have to play the Raptors. Canada is not allowing any unvaccinated players to come into the country. 76ers forward Matisse Thybulle will miss all of the games played in Toronto for the Raptors 76ers series. Big deal, little deal, or no deal?
Well, I mean, you're looking at a guy who averaged 5.7 points per game, 2.3 rebounds, 1 assist. Okay, so nothing great to say the least. But you're looking at, from a defensive ability, right? That's really where he kind of shines. It's a huge gamesmanship advantage, and it would behoove teams to get their players at least partially vaccinated, because Kyrie Irving, I'm looking at you. If the Nets somehow play the Raptors, right, you're now going to be without Kyrie Irving. So it's a huge gamesmanship advantage, provided that the player is actually, one of the upper echelon players. And I think that, Canada and the Toronto Raptors are going to exploit as much as they can, but I don't think they're good enough to make a big run. So it's fine in a short burst, but ultimately I see it as a very little deal.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's no deal. The 76ers should be able to beat the Raptors without Thybulle. He's an excellent defender and a valuable part of the 76ers, but really it should be Joel Embiid and James Harden will determine if the 76ers win or lose, not Thybulle. I believe Joel Embiid is the first center since Shaq to win the scoring title. Very impressive. Embiid should be the MVP, but unfortunately the MVP award is a popularity contest, and it's unclear who's going to win that as of right now. But yeah, it's nice for the Raptors to kind of have this advantage over teams that are coming in, and there are some teams that I think are fully vaccinated. So this is just a situation where, like you said, the Nets will be without Kyrie Irving, and the 76ers are only going to be without Thybulle, which is, I don't think it's the end of the world. But it's a nice card to play.
Yeah, and the Raptors are also going to be on the road for the majority of the series because they're the 6th seed. So it's one of those things that, you're really not... they're the 5 seed. So they're going to be on the road regardless, unless they're the last team standing. They're the highest seed left, which means that all hell has broken loose in the Eastern Conference. But stranger things have happened. But I really don't see how this benefits them outside of, one series, because they're gonna run up against a team that is better than them. And even with vaccination status, it's not going to matter, because James Harden and Joel Embiid have something to prove. And unless
you would think so, right? I mean, apparently James Harden doesn't think he has any pressure, and there's nothing, riding on anything he's gonna do in the next couple of weeks. I think he's tremendously misinformed. I mean,
yeah,
the 76ers traded a whole lot thinking that you were the most important asset for them to compete for a championship, and the idea that you're just gonna tread lightly in the playoffs, and especially if you've got to face the Nets at some point, I think you're tremendously misinformed, my friend.
I don't understand what his thought process is. I mean, you were the star of this this earth-shattering trade that was supposed that changed the complexity of an entire conference, and there's no pressure on you? I don't think so. Like, even Paul George is scratching his head on that one. So
it's got to be your bull.
It's got to be your bull. No, that is bull. That's he should be on Chicago. That's so much bull. So no pressure. It comes with the territory, right? John Hamm, as Don Draper said, that's what the money's for. This is where the pressure is. These are the strings that come with superstardom.
And he's playing lousy lately too, so maybe that's why. Maybe you need to take it a little bit more seriously and start playing better. But with the playoffs essentially, set aside from the play-in game today and tomorrow, who do you have coming out of the East and the West?
Man, it's feeling really chalky. It really is. It's feeling.
But that's what the NBA is, right? That's what it is. I mean,
yeah.
You don't get higher than 5 or 6 seeds like making a run, man.
That's true. I mean, the last time we were pleasantly surprised was what, the Miami Heat a few years back?
Well, that's the only thing I don't get about the NBA, and that was what, during COVID?
It was the bubble.
The
yeah.
NBA tries to play it up this play-in game. Like, who gives a shit who gets into the play-in game? Like, none of these teams are going to make it to the championship. Like, I'm sorry. This is not important at all. They want to chalk it up and make it look like it's important. But the NBA is severely flawed in how they do their playoffs, how they do their regular season. I mean, it's trash. We're right now. The Hawks are thumping the Hornets, the 9 and the 10. The 9 is thumping the 10 team, which it should, right? I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So I don't see like any surprises coming out of this.
But this is what they wanted, though, because this is a star-driven league, right? You want eyeballs on TV. You want asses in seats. So if I'm Adam Silver, if I am the Muppet that's in charge of the NBA, I want the Nets and I want the Hawks, right? Because I want Trae Young. If I'm in the Western Conference, I didn't want the Timberwolves. I did not want the T-Wolves at all. I want Kawhi Leonard. I want the Clippers in there. If I'm rooting for that. Of what's left, I gotta say, like, I would want CJ McCollum and the Pelicans. Like,
CJ McCollum, because Zion hasn't played a minute this season.
Right, exactly. He's the Ben Simmons of the Western Conference. So, it would be a great story if John Morant took the Grizzlies to the finals while Zion Williamson is eating his way out of the league. Like, that would be a fantastic story.
Performing 360 dunks for Instagram.
Right. And then going to eat his way out of the league. Because anybody can muster up the energy to do one dunk, right? So, again, it's like the whole nature of social media. You're going to do it once, and then that's going to be the image. Meanwhile, what are you actually doing the entire time?
Boomerang it.
Yeah, exactly. As far as who I see in the finals, yeah, I'm leaning towards a rematch of last year. Unless Chris Paul gets hurt, I see Suns Bucks again, but different outcome. I see the Suns taking it this year.
Oh God, help us all. So I'll say this. When we sat down and looked at this, I actually have Miami coming out of the East. I know they're the 1 seed. I guess that's why I'm okay with you being chalky. I just think Kyle Lowry, Bam, and Jimmy Butler can help them, beat every team in the East. I do think I think Coach Spo is a really good coach. I feel like Boston is going to get knocked. as much as I counter what I said earlier, you're right. They have a good chance of getting knocked out by the Nets. I'm not saying the Nets are going to win the championship or get there, but I think there's a part of them that could get knocked out because they're missing their center. They're missing one of their best players. I don't believe in the Bulls. I don't believe in the Raptors. I don't believe in the Hawks. I don't believe in the Cavs. James Harden, like we just spoke about, he seems to think that this is a holiday, and he needs to elevate his play if they're gonna get to the chip. The Bucks just seem lazy. Like I said, resting your stars. How incompetent does that sound? Like you could have been a 1 seed and you're resting players. I mean, that just tells me that you're not ready. And I think they're gonna have a tough time beating Miami, Philly, or even Brooklyn in a 7-game series. Like I don't think the Nets have played together long enough to beat some of the better teams in the league that have been playing together all season. And I also think Nash could get out coached by a Coach Spo. And like we talked about before, Ben Simmons is an X factor that's never going to show up. In the West, I actually like the Golden State Warriors, especially if they're all healthy. If Steph comes back restored and healthy, they can shoot the lights out of some of these teams. Phoenix is a Chris Paul injury away from being eliminated. That's just facts, man. If they don't have him, they've shown they struggle. Dallas just lost Doncic. I've had a calf strain. It is not easy to come back to. That's not something that happens overnight. You can electrolysis that thing. You can heat it. You can rub it all you want. 15 minutes into a game, that thing is going to pull, and it hurts.
Now, how boneheaded is this move? Because what did you have to gain by playing Luka Doncic in that game, though? You have your seed locked up. There's no, I mean,
yeah, it's hard to say. Like I talked about earlier, it's like you gotta play your players. Let players play.
But this is the risk you run.
Yeah, truly. I mean, if you remember, he was hurt last year, really bad, really bad. I think his shoulder. He had like a nerve damage in his shoulder and his back. He missed the game, came back, and like lit it up for like 40 points. But ultimately, he was just too hurt to move on. Minnesota's young. I think they're good. Memphis is young. They're good. They're not going to beat like some of these veteran teams. Utah's not a challenge. And Denver is still missing Murray. So, yeah, I'm on Golden State. I just think if Clay and Steph are fire, they're gonna get to the end. They're gonna at least get to the Western Conference Finals. And then if they have to play a team like Phoenix without Chris Paul, I mean, they can totally win that game.
Absolutely. I mean, Golden State has the pedigree and they have the experience that you can't count out. You can't discount them. That's why even last year with the injury, you can't discount what they've done because they've been there, you know? They are the giant that these other teams pretend to be. So
yeah.
It makes, it would make for a wonderful story if they get to the end. And honestly, the most intriguing, now that you mentioned the Golden State Warriors, I would like to see Warriors Nets.
Yeah, I think we all would. But
I think that would be the most intriguing,
But I actually think that would be a bad matchup for the Warriors. Like, I think that would be tough for them to deal with because there's nobody on their team that can guard Kevin Durant. I don't think Draymond Green can guard Kevin Durant. And I've seen Steph and Clay try to guard Irving, and they haven't been able to. So I think that would be a mismatch, and I think the Nets would have the upper hand in that. And then if Ben does come back for that series, that's totally a problem because Ben can totally guard Steph Curry.
Yeah, I mean, he could guard Steph Curry, but you also, you have depth in scoring, you do have more guys besides the Splash Brothers. And honestly, like, Andre Iguodala in bursts can probably hang with Durant for a little while. He may not totally shut him down, but Andre Iguodala is a phenomenal defender. So it's definitely something that, we shouldn't discount. But that might be like the best of the series, but I think probably the worst of probably like anything involving like the Grizzlies or the Jazz or a team that doesn't really have that kind of national fan base. It's going to be kind of like, it's going to be a waste of time.
I'm really excited for our next segment because I have been watching a ton of baseball the last couple of days. I'm surprisingly like very, very excited. The 2022 MLB season started last week, and the league also approved the use of PitchCom. I believe only a handful of teams are not using it. What are your thoughts on the product and how it works?
So, in theory, the communication between the catcher is more seamless and straightforward, right? That's what they're saying. Allegedly. So instead of using the finger signals, which can be easily decoded, you have a forearm sleeve similar to what they have with their scouting reports as is. It's got 9 buttons for the pitches and the location. The pitcher has something in their cap, which has already kind of been faulty tonight in the Yankees-Blue Jays game. Barrios had to take his hat off and he's sticking it next to his ear. And there's like, it's like, I can't hear anything. Like, can we go with an earwig or something? Like, I don't know. But the pitcher has one. The catcher has one in his helmet. The center fielder, I believe, has one. They can have one. The middle infielders, just to relay certain things like pitch outs and things of that nature. And then from
Garrett
there,
Cole crushing it tonight.
Like Garrett Cole is just, old King Cole's really back to normal, giving us the Cole shoulder, So I don't know. It's going to take a while to grow on me. I understand where they're going with this. I think it just needs to be flushed out a little bit more because, like, what if the Wi-Fi goes down? Other things that it's over an encrypted channel, but can there be a jammer, right? Is there something that they can do to kind of, like the headsets in football, right? Sometimes, magically they get jammed. So is this going to be an issue moving forward where, they're manipulating technology in order to gain a competitive advantage so that teams go back to finger signs, which has happened already. James McCann was wearing it for the Mets. He went back to finger signs because it wasn't working. So, I'll chalk the early part to them ironing out the bugs, but I still need to see more of it before I'm 100% on board.
Yeah, while I applaud MLB's use of technology, like, why does this have to be so fucking complicated? Like, why can't they just give the person giving the catcher the signs the pad who's sitting in the dugout and let him just type in what he wants so that both the catcher and the pitcher hear it? Why do we have to have the catcher? It looks like he's making he's texting on a cell phone on his knee, and then waiting for the pitcher to agree on it, and then going from there. Like, why don't you just give them both an earpiece and let the pitching coach just tell them what he wants the guy to throw? Like, why is that so far-fetched? Do you have any idea?
I mean, it's not that far-fetched. It's the illusion that the catcher is still calling the game. Just like it's the illusion, and Vladimir Guerrero just hit his 3rd home run of the game. Wow.
That's awesome.
Boom.
So, like, how about just giving the pitching coach a headset and let him just tell the pitcher and the catcher what to throw?
Right.
If the guy hears it, he hears it. Like, whatever. Like, it shouldn't be this overly complicated coding system. And let me say something. In football, you're right. Certain things happen where headsets don't work. They're on a private channel that nobody can really hack. You live with that. That's what you live with. And, if somebody's caught hacking the channel or it goes down, then you can't use it. I don't know. I just think they're just going a little too excessive over it.
It is, but but this is what Major League Baseball is all about. An overreaction, right? Now you're strip searching pitchers because of the spider tack situation. You now have this convoluted thing on the catcher's wrist, and now you're looping in so many other players. it's just a hand grenade when you don't need to use a hand grenade. It shows a lack of, there's a lack of nuance, a lack of understanding. You can fix this without going nuclear all the time. You can.
It could be simple. It could be real simple.
It can absolutely be simpler, but this is Major League Baseball's move. The GM has replaced the manager. The pitching coach is now replacing the catcher. Like, where does it end? I just want to know, what is the end? Like, the coaches are living vicariously through these guys. At what point are you going to let them be baseball players and actually make a decision? I just want to know. Just please. Part of the game is between the ears. That's the beauty of this game. It's a chess. It's a physical chess match.
So now that they do it this way, I mean, is the pitcher still allowed to shake off the catcher? Is that still allowed?
That happened. And then he went to his wrist, and then he dialed another number. And then I think the pitcher did that again. I think they finally got on the same page. But you can call pickoffs from there. You can call throws to first base from there. You can call a step off. You can call,
Hey, I'll throw it. You just make sure you catch it.
I will if it ever gets to me.
That's it, man. But moving on to our last baseball story, I watched this in live time. So Alex Boehm of the Phillies had some choice words after making 3 errors within the first 3 innings of the Mets-Phillies game on Monday night. Cameras were able to pick up Boehm saying, "I fucking hate this place." And the media could not wait to attack him after the game. He apologized after the Phillies rallied late to beat the Mets 5-4. Should Philly hold the kids' feet to the fire or just let this go?
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised. Watching Mets-Phillies, I am surprised at how they greeted this kid last night. Pinch hit at bat, standing ovation. So I didn't know you had it in you, Philly.
That's class.
That's class.
That's class.
This is the same city that booed Michael Irvin while he was on a fucking gurney. The same city that booed Santa Claus. Booed Santa Claus. He's a fat, jolly man who gives gifts to kids, and they boo him in Philly.
The same city that has the ugliest hockey jersey in the NHL.
And mascot. Let's not forget Gritty. Gritty is like the Philly fanatic too. That's another one that they can keep. But unbelievable. But that was a class act by them. It's very reminiscent to me of 1994, I believe, when Jack McDowell of the Yankees got bombed and they booed him as he was walking off the mound. Gave him the old bird. He gave him the whirly bird. Apologized after the game. His next start, standing ovation. He stood up to the bully. And that's exactly what Alec Boehm did. He stood up to the bully. He stayed at his locker, answered every question, said, "Yeah, I said it." It was in the heat of the moment. I was frustrated because I made my 3rd error of the game. Yeah, it's completely understandable. But kudos to him. Class act. Kudos to Philly. Didn't know you had it in you. Congratulations.
Yeah, I didn't think that he would survive this. He's not Mike Schmidt. And, Philly also has a rookie waiting in the wings to run Boehm's spot. But, hey, listen, I get it. I mean, errors are frustrating. I think we've all had times when we've made mistakes at work and we question why are we still here at some point. Maybe not out loud so anybody could hear. But, I get his frustration. It was... I'm sure he didn't mean anything by it. It was just, it was just a frustrating night for him.
Absolutely. But, speaking from personal experience, I have said many a time I fucking hate this place. So, we've all been there. And if anybody's seen my resume, I have jumped around a lot. But I completely understand his frustration. And, they also... Philly has a very high standard. They were very hesitant to embrace Scott Rowland. Scott Rowland pretty good, wasn't he? Just between you and me.
One of my favorite third basemen of all
Scott Rowland was an all-time great. And it's like, he's not Mike Schmidt. Maybe your standards are too high, Philly. Maybe your standards are just too high.
Are you in need of air care maintenance or service? I have the company for you. Air Care Technicians. They service the Westchester and Northern Bronx area and can help you with all your heating and cooling, maintenance, and service needs. Just give them a call at 914-315-1547. Again, that's 914-315-1547. Or shoot them an email at aircaretechnicians@gmail.com. These guys are the real deal as they are veteran-owned, licensed, and insured. Make sure to tell them that D&Z sent you.
Bullshit or no shit? We're going to debate this week's most controversial sports topics right now. All right, boys and girls, here's how it goes. We have a statement. If we agree with the statement, it is no shit. If we disagree with the statement, it is bullshit. Are you ready, D?
Ready.
Bullshit or no shit number 1. Aaron Judge will wear a different uniform next season.
I'm no shit on this one. I mean, teams are going to throw money at him because they think he could be the pillar of their organization for years to come. I think they're gonna look past the A-Rod deal, look past the Pujols deal. If you're a team like the Tigers or the Giants, which I think are going to make the strongest offers, you got nothing to lose. And followed by the Cubs, Twins, Pirates, Rockies, and Reds, you're going to give them all the money you got because at least for 5 out of the 9 years, you're going to have a pillar for your organization.
It's tough because he is going into... he's in his early 30s already. He'll be 31 next season. Teams are gonna be a little hesitant to offer long-term deals, and frankly, I wouldn't blame them because if you ink Aaron Judge to a 9-year contract, you're signing him to his age 40 season. I don't know if that's something that teams will want to do unless it includes multiple opt-outs. So that being said, I'm still going to go no shit just because it came from the horse's mouth himself. Brian Cashman does not seem too keen on bringing Aaron Judge back. Now, I understand that from the gamesmanship's negotiating standpoint, he's just trying to manage expectations and keep the price low. I understand that. But, Aaron Judge is going to get his contract. He may not get 9 years. Maybe he'll get 6. But he's going to get the AAV that he wants. And San Francisco is definitely going to be one of those teams that you need to look out for. San Diego just prints money. Like San Diego and the Dodgers, they just add, and it doesn't seem like there's anything stopping them in sight. So any of those 3 West Coast teams could definitely be in play for Aaron Judge. And, it seems like a fait accompli that he will not be back in the Bronx next year. Bullshit or no shit number 2. 2 quarterbacks will be drafted in the first round of this year's NFL draft.
Yeah, I'm going bullshit. I have Kenny Pickett going to the Panthers at 6, and that's it. I know Seattle might be in the market for a quarterback, and I think who else might be in the market for a quarterback? I don't know. Maybe Pittsburgh, but I only have Pickett going. I think Malik Willis and Carson Strong get drafted, but I just don't think it's going to be in the first round.
It's going to be close. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, as we know. So, there were teams that didn't think Patrick Mahomes was worthy of being a 10th overall pick. He kind of looked bad. A little bad. Good job by the Chiefs moving up, but, a little bad. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with no shit on this one. I'm going to push. Exactly 2. Exactly 2. I don't think Corral is going to be the guy. I think it's going to be Willis, and I think it's going to be Pickett. And I'm going to say that Atlanta's going to take Willis at 8, and then Pickett is going to drop. And Pickett is going to drop to Pittsburgh. So I'm going to go with those. Washington may be tempted, but they already have 3 fucking quarterbacks on their roster. So how many more do you need? I'm going to go exactly with those 2, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to go with Atlanta taking Willis, and then Pickett is going to charge downward to the Steelers at 20. Bullshit or no shit. Number 3, Chris Paddock will outplay Chris Bassett this season.
All right, listen. I am going to say no shit on principle because I have a bet with a friend of mine on these 2 players. I don't know why Met fans love Chris Bassett so much. Paddock is younger, he makes less money, but whatever. All the stats point to Bassett as probably going to have a better season, but on principle, I'm taking Paddock.
Since 2018, Chris Bassett is the 3rd lowest ERA of all American League pitchers. That's a fantastic ERA. It's like 3.23, I believe.
Screw him. He's in the National League now.
And arguably, he's playing weaker competition, right? Because now he gets the Marlins 19 times a year. He used to be on the American League West equivalent of the Marlins, but now he's on a team that actually has some bats. The bullpen is an issue, so there may be a few inherited runners that score that will get charged to Bassett. But ultimately, Chris Paddock, it's been a slide. It definitely has been a slide since his rookie year. I mean, his ERA is almost a full run higher. The good thing about Paddock moving from San Diego to Minnesota is that Minnesota is more of a pitcher-friendly ballpark. So we will see if that helps any. Surprising, I mean, they're kind of hovering around the same for their career. Like, Paddock is 1 game over 500. Bassett is only 7 games over 500 for his career. Bassett only has 1 career complete game. So I'm going to go, all the numbers, like you said, point to Chris Bassett, everything except for age. Like, long-term, Chris Paddock is probably going to be the better pick because he's 6 years younger. So there's a lot of room to grow. But this year, I'm going to go bullshit, and I'm going to say Chris Bassett is going to have a better year this year because he's more polished and he's in a better situation. Need a little inspiration in the kitchen? Want to try something new? Or maybe you just need a new YouTube cooking show to binge? Well, I have the answer for all 3. As You Eat It, hosted by me, Z. I invite you into my home and show you methods designed to empower and inspire you in the kitchen. Cook how you want to cook, eat how you want to eat as you eat it. That's As You Eat It, available only on YouTube. AZ, You Eat It. Check it out and let's get cooking. The Fade Store presents the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award. All right, boys and girls, you know what time it is. It is time for the Alleged Superstar of the Week. We put up a poll on our Twitter account at FadeRouteDNZ, and you vote. And you vote, and you vote, and you vote. The poll goes up after the show, and you have until next week's show to vote. So plenty of time to get those votes in. And do you know who won the ass last week, D?
No, I don't.
One Mr. Adam Schefter. That's a pretty bad one. You know,
yeah.
Adam Schefter, that was very uncalled for in reference to Dwayne Haskins, and you deserve to be called to the carpet. You deserve to be called to task for it. And yeah, I'm glad he apologized and he backed off of it. But that was last week. This is this week. Who are your nominees this week, D?
All right, so first up, I've got Bruce Brown, claiming the Nets will have a better chance attacking Horford and Thies since Robert Williams is out. Durant quickly walked back to comments when he took the stage for his press conference. Bruce Brown, you are my alleged superstar of the week. Number 2, Karl Anthony Towns, only 11 points in the play-in game. You're supposed to be the leader of the team and the face of the franchise. Karl Anthony Towns, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And last, and certainly least, Raiders upper management giving Derek Carr a $120 million extension when he's never even won a playoff game and he's the third or the fourth best quarterback in the division. Raiders, you are my alleged superstars of the week. What do you got, T?
All good choices. I had 6 this week. I'm not going to give...
Tough week for some people, I guess.
It's a tough week, and I'm not going to go with all 6 because, frankly, you know, that's a lot. That really is a lot. And
you know what really grinds my gears?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go off on a rant here, but, you know, we're going to start with Rob Manfred, our buddy. He's back. For gifting MLB players headphones after the contentious labor battle that resulted in the delay of spring training and regular season. But, you know, free headphones! That'll make everything go away, Rob. Like your fans! Rob Manfred, you are my alleged superstar of the week. Baker Mayfield, he's been on here before, for continuing to chirp about being disrespected by the Browns when they acquired Deshaun Watson. Dude, they wouldn't have done it if you got the job done 2 years ago. Yes, you're gritty. Yes, you're gutty. But a wise man once said, son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash. Baker Mayfield, you are my alleged superstar of the week.
You think we'll see him in any progressive commercials this year?
I doubt it, but I also don't think Deshaun Watson is getting that either. It might be another one for Patrick Mahomes. So, you know, I would choose him. Like, that's, I would say that's a smart bet if I'm progressive. Because, you know, nobody's going to want to put a backup quarterback as a pitchman. I'm just saying. Speaking of backup quarterbacks. That's right. You're back, Cam Newton. You are back for your comments, your chauvinistic comments regarding women who can't cook and don't know how to be quiet and let a man lead on a podcast this past Monday. You're back. You're back. Except this time, they can't take your Oikos sponsorship because guess what? You ain't good enough to have an Oikos sponsorship. Cam Newton, you are my alleged superstar of the week. I think we've said our piece here. I think we've made our cases. The poll goes up after the show and for our nominee. Just do better, boys. Just do better. Your favorite podcast has its own merch line now. Go to the Fade Store with DNZ.com today for all your Fade Route merch needs. I'm talking tank tops, t-shirts, sweatshirts, like yoga pants, we got those too. Like some cool accessories, we got those too. And we're not done yet. We have so much more planned for you, but check out what we have today at the Fade Store with DNZ.com. That's the Fade Store with DNZ.com. Order up! All right, boys and girls, it is time for us to order up.
Order up, order up.
This week, we are ordering up the 5 American League players that we believe can go toe-to-toe with Shohei Ohtani for the MVP. We're going to rank them from 5 to 1. Who you got, D?
All right, so at number 5, I'm going to start with an oldie, but usually a goodie. Mike Trout.